Welcome to another Javier Mendez podcast. And we are back. It's a new week. There's a new middleweight champion. I want to just start with that. That was, I don't know if it was surprising or just his unique style to dominate Izzy is what it took. He was checking the kicks. He did some things I saw other guys not do and stood right in front of me, put the pressure on the whole fight. What was your takeaway from that fight right there?
Well, my takeaway is that us armchair quarterbacks, no matter how experienced we are, we're exactly that, because I no way in heck expected what happened to happen. I did not expect an individual with just boxing, good boxing, MMA style, very, very good, because the guy rarely ever gets touched, and with a simple teep kick, was able to do what he did, advancing forward, never letting Adesanya get off. He never let Adesanya settle. Never. He never let him settle. He was always on him. And he was just a little bit away, just enough to make him miss, but right there in the position to make him not settle and also punish him if he stayed there long enough. So Adesanya was on his bicycle the whole 5 rounds. The whole 5 rounds. And then that very first round when he connected with the 1-2, that was poetry. That was like, damn. And so I'm sure from that point, Adesanya didn't feel too comfortable, because he was an unknown territory for him to have someone, a stand-up guy that's not really known to be a kickboxer and real kickboxing sense, but he was an MMA striker. And, I don't think anybody foresaw this was going to happen. Even his corner, Strickland's corner was telling them, to get inside, mix it up, tie him up against the fence, looking for takedowns, that type of thing, to change up the levels. He never did any of that. He never tried to take down maybe one time. But for the most part, he just did what was working. He put pressure on him. He didn't let him settle, and he kept throwing things in his face. And it was right there at all times, like, you can't hurt me, you can't do nothing to me. And every time Adesanya would do something, it was not 2 or 3, 4 type punches. It was 1 or 2. And 1 or 2 wasn't working with Strickland. I think 3s and 4s might have been better off, but who's to say, right? I mean, I'm not in there, and Adesanya felt what he felt, and I mean, it was an incredible win by Strickland. I mean, I don't think anybody could have predicted how great he was going to do. I didn't. There's no way, heck, I did. I thought no way. I thought if he got anything, he would get a good shot in. That's what I thought, and nope, I was wrong. Total annihilation, total control by Strickland, and props to him, man. I mean, he's a very likable guy, very likable.
I listened to his podcast, and Rogan used a lot of his material. Oops. And we had you pop out for a second, probably get a call on Javier's phone, but he'll be right back in here.
I'm in.
You back? I don't see your camera. I hear you, though.
This camera's going to come back on. I get thrown off when someone calls me.
When somebody calls you on the phone, right? I don't see on the camera. I'm talking to Javier, the pitcher character.
There we go. Sorry.
There we are. It's okay. It makes the podcast more interesting. Anyways, I was listening to his coach in the corner of Strickland, and he's going, "Don't be snake charmed by this guy. Don't let him snake charm you." In other words, this is my takeaway. As I was watching, my subconscious was telling me, Izzy has managed to keep people at distance, keep his head out of reach, keep his chin out of reach for a lot of people, roll with the punches most of the time, keep you afraid of either a kick, an elbow, or something coming back at you, or 2 for your 1, to keep guys at distance. So it seemed. Very elusive, able to bend at his waist, move his whole body and his head. And it's just like Sean just kept the pressure on him like I've seen nobody pressure him in a whole fight and stay with him the whole time. And Sean was not exerting a lot of energy, but that was interesting, that statement, "Don't be snake charmed by him, just go in there and box him up." I mean, do you think that happened to a lot of people in the past that fought Izzy?
Well, first of all, people in the past that fought Izzy don't have the great defense that Sean Strickland has. Look at the stats of Sean Strickland. He's probably the one of the few fighters that's been hit the least amount out of anybody in any division. The guy rarely gets touched because he's such a master at avoiding the strikes, And I'm talking about people that leg kick him too, but I didn't think that this was going to apply to such a high level as Izzy. Izzy is as highest level striker as they come. They don't come any higher than him. They really don't. He's as
I
high as
guess
level as there is, and his corner couldn't figure out the puzzle, and maybe they can now. Maybe they figured, okay, we got him now. So based on what Dana's saying, that he feels that rematch is warranted, and let's just leave it up to the UFC to get a hot topic and make the most out of it. And I think he's right. Right now is the time to get a rematch because people were shocked because this is what happened. And I don't think as many people bought the pay-per-view as they would the second one around. So I think it's a good move on Dana's part to get a rematch, going. But who's to say if the outcome would be different? Who knows? I mean, we've seen Adesanya come back with determination, and let's face it, did we see Adesanya as determined as he normally is? I don't know.
I don't
Was he
think
as
so.
determined? Was he as determined as he was for the second fight with Alex? I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I can see what he was doing. I could see he was hanging out. I can see. I don't know. I mean, only Adesanya can tell you if he took him serious, and if he says he did, then he did. I mean, I like that guy. Adesanya, win or lose, he's a class act for me. I like the way he defends his fighters, right or wrong. He's right there, do or die hard. So I like that about him, and I like the way he took the defeat. I thought he was very classy the way he did it. Maybe people don't like him, but unfortunately, a lot of people, I do like him. I think I like what he does. I like how he is. I like how he handles himself. I like how he defends his teammates. There's a lot for me that I like about Izzy. There's a lot.
And you being a fighter and a coach, I mean, it comes to you. You see it from that angle for sure. I just saw a guy that was out there and he was dealing with someone who was actually checking his kicks. That's the one thing that I didn't know that Strickland was that good at checking kicks. I didn't have any recollection because we never got to see him against Alex check the kicks.
I
And
don't know if he's really that great at checking the kicks. I just didn't see that many thrown at him. I seen the distance where it was being avoided, and I think the main fact I think is that Strickland did not allow Izzy to settle, so he was always on the move. He never let him stay there. He never let him stay there. He was always on him. Look at the fight. Watch the fight. He's always moving, so it's kind of hard to throw leg kicks off of movement like that. It's very hard, not easy to do, and I think that that's the biggest factor that I take from this is Sean fought his game. He wouldn't allow Izzy to fight his, which was a distance and stand and let him move, but moving all the time, punching, kicking, moving like that, it's very difficult to do if the guy doesn't let you settle. And then when you get right into that position when you try to settle, he's firing. That's what got him with that 1-2 got him because he stood and boom, he nailed him. So it's because he was right in range to fire. So I mean, I can't say that Izzy didn't try to stay in the stance. I just can say that Sean didn't allow him to. That I can say.
well, it's interesting. His coach said something because he asked his coach to do his post-fight press conference after. He's like, "Hey, just let him do it for me," because he was just not feeling it at the moment, which understandable after that kind of loss, and especially when you're talking smack, this and that, both people, and it's like if you're on the other end of it, you got to take it with you somehow. But he was Eugene was saying like they're like, "Well, you ready to come back on the drawing?" He's like, "It's kind of hard to go back to the drawing boards when we looked at everything already." Because to make a comeback that's the toughest part in a thing. It's like once you think you've figured a guy out and you have your fighter all figured out, like what more moves can my guy do to beat this guy? Have you ever had that kind of situation,
No,
rematch or something?
no. In the rematch, I always knew what to do. I always knew what we needed to do. It's a matter whether your fighter was able to execute, but I never had that problem.
It was interesting. It's just like he's like basically we looked at everything. This guy kind of has the answer, the key to our castle. So that was it. I mean, other than that, there was Tai Tuivasa, and he fought Volkov, and Volkov looked like it was leg kicks versus punches. That was my takeaway.
Well, the Volkov situation was you got a fighter in Volkov that can deal with just about any striker out there, with the exception of probably Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane. He can deal with anybody out there in the striking department. And Volkov, his ground isn't bad. So when you got a 6'7" frame and you deliver the kicks like he does and you deliver punches the way he does, and you don't have a ground, like Ty doesn't have a ground, was at a disadvantage. And I knew that. I knew going into it, Ty was at a disadvantage with this guy because this guy's had more tools in his shed than Ty. And Ty's a do or die type of guy, and he's a fan favorite for a reason because he's a do or die, and he loses. He's upset at himself, but he's not moping about it. He's just like, oh well, come back later, come back to the drawing board, and whatever. He got me. That's Ty. He's got a great attitude. But when you don't have a ground game, like Ty doesn't have a ground game. He's decent, but not a high level ground game, and that's definitely one of his strong. Not strong, but one of his weak points is non-wrestling, and jiu-jitsu based is okay, nothing great.
Volkov's always been pretty good, but like you said, some people might have his number. Like they figure him out, they use his height against him or something. I don't know, but he's a tough task for anybody.
For
He's
anybody.
got skills. He's got skills.
Not too many people going to get Volkov. No. He's the guy that's the Terminator for a lot of these guys because he's a good striker, and he has more than just striking. He's got the overall game, and if you look at him, he's gained some size too. He's not as skinny as he used to be. He's a bigger guy now, so he's delivering more shots, and he's a big guy, man. Big guy. Volkov, he's not done. That guy's still a contender, and a couple more wins or maybe one more win. You never know. You might see him in a title contention situation. It's hard to say, but I think he's really up there for title talks. That's for damn sure.
Did you catch Jorge Masvidal's promotion on YouTube?
No, I know nothing about it really. I don't even know. It's bare knuckle, I guess, or not?
It was bare knuckle.
No,
I
don't really follow the bare knuckle thing.
Shigano fought. He beat up Verdum. They fought there. I mean, that's actually a league that's paying money. I mean, Jorge's got these guys making $400,000 or $500,000 in some of the fights on that card.
So Shigano beat Fabricio Werdum?
Yeah.
Bare knuckle boxing.
Tore him up. Well, it was he has bare knuckle MMA. I could send you the link. It's free. It's on YouTube. He just streamed.
Oh, so bare knuckle MMA. So they went to the ground too.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
He resisted. He stayed at distance, but it was a pretty interesting organization. Looks like Jorge's off to doing something right.
Well, I mean, Jorge, that's what he started out. Remember, he was with Kimbo Slice on those underground YouTuber fights. He was one of those guys fighting the guy twice his size and beating him up. So this is George's style. This is back to the roots for him. Just organized, organized back to the roots of what he was used to doing bare knuckle. So this is right up his alley.
It's like the original MMA. There's no gloves. It was technically bare knuckle MMA back in the day. Unless you came in with one boxing glove, then that was special.
Yeah.
I saw that Volkanovski wants to fight Topuria, and then he wants a rematch with Islam. That's his goal.
Well, first of all, we have to get by Charles to even think about Volkanovski. So let's ideally, what he said is what I want also, but we got to get Charles. Charles is not to be underestimated. Charles is a champion and one of the greats for a reason. I don't think he's the greatest, but he's one of the greats for damn sure in the lightweight division. And his record says it. What he's done, what he's accomplished, who he's beaten. So Charles Oliveira is not to be overlooked. So myself, I don't want to think about that yet.
Do you have you had any of your guys going to Contender since we last talked? Because I haven't kept up with the Contender.
No, I have Daniel Allen going on Contenders the 19th. He's the only one that I have that's going. Mostly all my guys. I don't have that many guys anymore, but most of my guys are already they're already with the league. The top guys are already with the league. Daniel Allen would be one of the last few that he's going in the Contenders. Let's see how well he does, and he's a good prospect. But let's see.
Do you have any more new guys? Well, you have Amaru fighting soon, right? He'll be in the Bellator card.
No, Amaru is fighting the UAE Warriors.
Oh, my bad.
He's fighting for the championship on the Fight Pass. It's on the Fight Pass, and should he be successful, which I think he will be, he's an unbelievable talent. He is the next, Team Habib, a fighter that's going to be a world champion. So it's going to be, Umar's going to get the title next in the bantamweight division. Then Amaru, at one point when Islam moves up in weight, Amaru's going to be there. You watch, Amaru's going to be in there. And don't be shocked if Amaru becomes the next UFC lightweight champion from Team Habib. It very well could happen. Let's see what happens. But, Amaru definitely, he's a talent to watch for. Very, 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 very good.
So I'm hearing it from you first. You heard it here first, people. When Hav tells you, then you see it like a year later. Oh, that's the guy on the TV with the belt on. That's kind of
Habib's been saying it before I did because Habib had a better view of it. He got to see Amaru before I did. So Habib always knew that Amaru was special. He told me, he goes, Coach, watch this guy. And sure enough, that's everything Habib said. This guy's special.
Habib's got the cheat code. He's like, hey, Hav, say this and you'll sound like a wizard.
Well, I mean, I knew something was up when we went over there and we were training in Dubai. And Habib goes, Coach, I corner against you now, okay? I said, okay. And I'm wondering, what's he doing that for? So I figured, okay, this guy must be good. He was good. I said, oh, okay, I got it.
So you guys both had sparring partners, like you're cornering each one of them, something like that?
Well, we would be sitting together, and all of a sudden he goes, Coach, for this one here, I'm going to go against you, okay? I take Amaru, you take your guy. I said, okay. So I knew something was up when he did that. And sure enough, you start seeing Amaru kicking and punching and moving. You go, okay, I set up. He got set up. He's special.
So is Habib on his way out there? And how are things going with Usman now?
Usman's doing fantastic. I don't know when Habib's coming out here. He's going to try to come out here, but we'll see. But one thing's for sure, we're going to be helping Islam. Makachev over there in Dubai. We'll be in Dubai, and then we'll be in Abu Dhabi. So after the fight, we're going to go to Dubai to help Islam's final week of training. And Usman's going to be with me. Umar's going to be with me. And I think Habib maybe. I'm not sure about Habib. Unknown with Habib. It's unknown. So we're not expected to have his presence with us. If he can make it, he makes it. If he can't, he can't. So it's not guaranteed that he will be with us. Guaranteed that he will be with us on the phone. Guaranteed that he will call us if he needs to. That's guaranteed. But being in person, no, that's not guaranteed.
Definitely a FaceTime specialist. Well, that's good. I'm glad things are going good with Usman. I see Kane training him a lot. How is Kane loving his new coaching time? Spending time.
He's a blessing to have. I tell all my guys, if you're going to listen to any of the coaches here, number one guy you guys should pay attention to is because who's done it, who's been in your shoes is Kane. He gives great advice, and as a matter of fact, he's gonna apply to work Usman's corner with me in October 7th in San Diego at Pachanga Casino. Pachanga
Resort.
It's not a casino. It's just the name is the auditorium is called Pachanga, so it's not It's not a casino. It's just the name of the casino. The name of the gambling place is Pachanga, but it's not the casino. It's just an arena.
Get there early. All my friends that have recently visited San Diego, just like, I love it. I could move here, especially Northern California people. It's one of those places. You've been there before, haven't you?
San Diego? I love San Diego. San Diego is beautiful, man.
Yeah, I like that
place.
San
Diego is just a great place to live.
Yeah, not a bad choice. Well, Hav, it's been didn't want to go through the full card. It's been a good podcast. Anything to add? Anything coming up with your guys?
No, that's it. We pretty much handled everything.
Good. We kept it a wrap. Make sure you like and subscribe, everybody. More stuff coming your way. Thanks for watching the Javier Mendez podcast.